The big mistake that 95% of golfers are making with their wrist in the golf swing is the fact that we start with a cup or this angle or extension in the lead wrist here at setup. A lot of golfers that I work with aren't able to take this lead wrist and turn that into a flat wrist during the swing. Most golfers take the lead wrist and keep that in that extension or that cup during the entire swing. It stays in a cup during the takeaway, to the top, in transition, and down at impact. And unfortunately for them, and if you're watching this and struggle with inconsistencies or contact day to day, or especially having weak shots to the right, we need to learn how to get the lead wrist flat during the entire swing. It's one of the few non-negotiables to have a consistent golf swing. Now in this video, I'm going to show you how to do that, probably a different way than you've tried before, plus one simple drill so you can start hitting the ball much more solid. Now at our setup position, if you take a good left-hand grip, you should have that little angle there, right? Like that is correct. You should have a little bit of a cup. That ensures a strong enough left-hand grip. The problem with keeping it cupped is really two specific things, especially during the initial downswing. If we keep that angle in that wrist and don't get rid of it, the first issue is that the shaft is always going to be too steep, right? This is you if you're too far over the top and hit those like pulls and fades, too steep. The second thing that the wrist being too cupped is going to do is have the club face be too open. And that means the toe of the club, this top part, is too far behind the heel of the club. Now, if I take a steep shaft during the downswing and an open club face and I present that down in an impact, you can see the big problem with having the cup from the face on angle. There's no shaft lean. My hands are too far back. I'm going to have no consistency of contact. Now, if I show you that same position where the wrist is cupped, watch what happens to both the shaft and the club face angle when I take this angle out of my lead wrist. I'll show you how to do it in a moment. Look at the difference in the angle of the shaft. Here's the good. Look at the cup. Here's the cup, very vertical. Watch as I flatten this, and try this yourself. Flatten your left wrist out. See how the angle of the shaft automatically gets more horizontal, more shallow, more from inside. This would be the position you see really good golfers in. We'll show Adam Scott on the screen. All good golfers are going to swing from inside. High handicap golfers out here, okay? Now also look at the club face. Too cupped, too open. Watch as I flatten that. Look at how that toe, now if I bring that in front of us, gets square right away. So the reason we have to flatten the lead wrist in the first place is to be able to swing from inside with a square club face like all the best ball strikers do. Hey guys, if you're watching today's video and you enjoy the tips, but you really want to take your game to a whole nother level, my friends here at Performance Golf are hosting beautiful 2-day immersive golf schools with the best golf coaches in the world all around the United States. You know, I find a lot of golfers come in to see us and they're really not able to identify and fix their real root cause. And usually there's like 4 or 5 main swing issues we have, but finding the real one main root flaw that can domino effect and fix all the rest of the pieces is really the thing that makes or breaks someone's improvement. So if you want to make like 1 or 2 years worth of improvements in 2 days, I highly recommend you check out my friends at Performance Golf, these golf schools down below. Click the link down there, see if there's still a spot left in a location that works for you. It could be the thing that transforms your game. Look forward to having an awesome experience. Now the caveat here, or the hard part, is when we make a swing, and we'll show Adam Scott, with this cup, if you hold the club in front of you and you create a little bit of vertical wrist hinge, do this with me, we know we have to hinge our wrist up, right, during the backswing. We've got to hinge the wrist up during the backswing so that we can hinge them down during the downswing, right? What goes up must come down. Balls on the ground, we have to make the club go up. So we have to create vertical hinge, but look what happens to my wrist when I create vertical hinge. Does that get rid of that cup? Not at all. In fact, it increases it. So when I hinge my wrist during the backswing, it makes it cup even more. So Eric, what gives here? How do I get rid of that this is where the trick comes in with the trail hand. You see, the lead hand and wrist in the golf swing is responsible for the up and down wrist motion. The mistake most all golfers make is they don't get the trail wrist correct, which is responsible for the back and forth. So as my lead wrist goes up, that gets offset with my trail wrist bending back. When I put both hands on and I make my backswing, I need to be able to get my trail wrist bent back to get my lead wrist flat. Watch how this works here. So as I'm hinging vertically, we'll show Adam Scott, I want to be able to get the club roughly 90 degrees from face on. Like, how much should I hinge the club? About 90 degrees from face on at left arm parallel. How much do I bend the right wrist back? I want to bend that back to the point where it's about at a 45-degree angle. 45-degree angle, okay, between my wrist and my forearm. The simpler version would be, I want to bend my right wrist back to the point where my lead wrist gets flat. Watch as I flatten out my right wrist. This would be bad. Now the left wrist is cupped, shaft is steep, face is open. That's a disaster. Now if I bend my right wrist back, that flattens my left wrist and closes that club face. Okay, when do I do this? I do it progressively the whole way back. I do it progressively the whole way back to the point where my lead wrist is about flat by left arm parallel. Now, a simple little drill that I like to do, we all have phones, right, nowadays, is you can take your iPhone and I want you to feel during your swing. I'm going to drop the club here for a second. If you hold the phone in front, just the face, the front of the phone here facing forward, I want you to feel like you bend your right wrist back, point the face of your phone slightly down towards the ground. This would be like the takeaway. Imagine the club's about parallel to the ground. And then by about left arm parallel, you want to take that phone and point it away from you. If I took my phone and pointed it towards me, you see my right wrist is not bent back. That'd be a bad cupped left wrist, open face, away from me. So the mantra here, if I do this with a club so you can see at the same time, right wrist and phone down would put us in a position about right here. Phone away with the right wrist bent back would put us in a perfect position back this way. I can't tell you how many times I've showed a similar drill like this to a student who told me they were struggling with their ball striking, sometimes for years and decades, and they were able to start hitting the ball solid within only a few swings. It's so important to get that. So when you're hitting, and this is true for all clubs, I've got a 7-iron here, I want you to take your setup, feel the right wrist and right palm pointed slightly more down as it starts to bend back, point it away. Now what the best ball strikers would do, you'll see this with Adam Scott, Xander Schauffele, very good, is I take this like, hey, what do I do from here? I'm down and I'm away. If I were to take that up to the top, it's gonna be a little bit more towards the sky. Again, I don't want it towards my face, would be worst case scenario. But if you really wanna take things to another level, you wanna be able to keep that in transition. So still have the phone pointing away when you start down. Down, away, away. Down, away, away. If you can do that with your phone, you could do that with a golf club, whether you're on the range or the course. I'm gonna do one with a club and then we'll hit one with that. Down, away, away. My right wrist is bending back to offset that cup in that left wrist, which again, you want that at setup. If you don't have that at setup, you gotta start there. Get that left wrist a little cup to start. Right wrist bent back, down, away, and away. And there's a very nicely struck shot, just a couple feet left of my target line. If you struggle with consistent contact, flipping, the pulls and fade miss, general inconsistency, the odds of you having a good flat wrist are almost zero. All of us watching can start here and get this piece good. Very simple, but very effective. If you guys have any questions on this, leave a comment down below. If you like the video, consider clicking that like button, maybe sharing with a friend, subscribing. All of that helps us. Thank you guys for watching.